Only. So Jackie and I thought we're gonna go over 2025 goals. You don't have to say what they are, but you want to set your goals. And then we're gonna figure out what we have to do by doing the 1, 3, 5 to achieve those goals. Okay, because goals are great, but if you do not have tasks, you don't know what a plan to achieve those goals, it's not going to work great for you. You're just going to be floundering. So I passed out I don't know, can they see that? Oh, they can see that on the screen, right? The single page business plan. So this is a sample for a solo agent, okay? So what you want to do is figure out what your annual goal is. Now that could be how many transactions, that could be volume. What else can that be, Jackie?
GCI.
GCI, whatever you want it to be. That's what goes in your annual goal. Okay. Then, so that's 1. So then the 3 is the key focus areas. What areas do you need to focus on to achieve those goals? So anybody off the top of your head have your goals?
I want to sell 5 houses.
Realistically. On to the next person.
15.
Did you say 5?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a good goal.
What would yours be, Chris?
What?
A goal.
My goal would be 30.
Okay, so Chris's is 30. My goal is to have 50 agents that actually fit cap next year. 50.
Whoa.
That's my goal. So mine is more on a broker's level, right? But you can do a 1, 3, 5 in any area of your life. So if it's fitness, right? I want to lose this much weight. Okay, you can do the 3 areas and then what you're going to do for that. So Jackie, what's yours?
Basically, I'm repeating my goal because I still didn't hit it. 15 transactions for the year.
Okay, so Jackie's is 15 transactions. Anthony, what's your real goal?
200,000 GCI.
There we go.
Actually, that's what I was thinking in my head too. I wanted to
5 transactions. Okay,
I'm being realistic.
that's okay. 5 is good. Ronnie?
Mine has always been 20, yeah. I don't think I've hit it yet.
Okay.
Maybe this year. I think I
You're
hit it this
like
year.
practically there.
I think you're
Yeah.
there. You might want to
So
up
it's
that a
like
little
30,
bit.
Yeah.
25.
30.
And 10 in 3 rivers.
10 and 3 rivers. Yeah, right. 5 and 3
Yeah,
rivers.
5 and
I
3.
hate doing that.
Yeah. And Chris, you did yours,
He
right?
said 200,000.
You said 10 mobile homes.
I think 30 is probably pretty close to 200,000 anyways, right?
Yeah.
Mm,
Well,
I
depends.
think it would be more, wouldn't it?
Sales price of-
No, I think it was right about there last year.
Okay.
When we were running the
What's our
numbers
average
at
sales price?
350.
We got like
350 still,
350.
yeah, it kind of dropped to 344 for Porterville.
Does anybody know in Visalia? Connie, do you know what the average sales price is in Visalia? Does anybody know?
I think it was like 356.
Oh, wait, sorry,
Wait,
Are they muted?
no.
I'm not muted.
Oh, there you
No,
go.
sorry,
okay. Do
Connie.
you know what the average sales price is, Connie,
I
in
think it's
Visalia?
356.
Okay. Do you know what your goals are, Connie, for next year?
Yes. I want to
What is it?
double. I want to double my production. So I want to at least do, if I double, I'll do 30. And continue to build luxury, bring on luxury agents.
Right. And don't you think, I don't know how everybody feels. This year was an odd
It was
year.
odd.
It was odd. I
It
think
was
everybody is a little bit kind of off. It was an odd year. So, okay. So Connie's is double her production and build luxury. So how many luxury agents are there right now?
We have 4, 5, including myself. I want to go to 10.
We want to go to 10 by the
So
end
double,
of
double.
by 2025.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So everybody has their goals. And I would write them down on this other sheet, on the single page business plan, write your goals. You did it already, no? Chris is going ahead. Chris is going ahead, but that's okay. Okay, and then the 3 key areas that you want to focus on. So what would that be? Throw out some things. What would you do to increase production? What would that be, Christopher?
More conversations, more real estate conversations.
Okay,
Mine is to nurture
okay.
my CRM, like the people I already have, I'm sharing and taking care of them.
Right.
The referrals.
right. So so keep in mind, you're gonna have the 3 focus areas, and then you're gonna do the objectives for each focus area. So don't make your focus area an objective, make that an area that you want to focus on, and then you've got to come up with 5 ways to do it. Okay, which,
That says right here. I copied it.
that's okay.
Yeah, mine's just more conversations.
Okay, so yours, but, okay, so is yours to grow your database, Chris, to put more people in your database, or? Because there's gonna be 3. What are the 3 focus areas?
One's gonna be more conversations with potential clients.
Okay, so Chris's is more conversations with potential clients.
And servicing my database.
Okay, and then
Would it be just better, or what would you say, like service database
I would,
effectively?
I would say, yeah, content, yeah, work on growing and communicating with database. And what's your 3rd one? If you want to grow your business, how else would we grow our business? Would it be social media? Would it be having a better, like, I don't know. What do you think, Ronnie? What are your goals on yours?
Mine is growing and organizing my database.
Okay, so database,
More community presence, like doing community events and stuff.
community events,
Sorry.
that's okay.
Just
Hmm.
establishing my online presence. I know it needed to be nice.
No, I think that's good. So Ronnie's focusing on social media, networking, right? And database. Okay, so those are 3 things that are gonna get you more business. I mean, they're going to, no matter what. Okay, Jackie?
I like Ronnie's choice of words of nurture SOI, so that's one of mine. Online presence, of course, and try to encourage in the little cases is more videos, because I don't do any. And then adopt my CRM better.
Okay,
I put be more involved in the community as my 3rd.
that's a good one. I think being more involved, and you know, we're
You
doing,
can't copy mine. We're gonna have the same business.
I worded it differently.
it's
I
okay.
worded it different.
There's plenty of organizations to attend.
That's okay. And so now you guys saw that I don't know if you watched my video or if you watched Downtown in the Know. I think what I'm gonna start doing is I'm gonna start making sourdough bread, and I'm gonna offer how many I've got on Wednesday, because people need to start looking at Downtown in the Know.
Mhm.
So if you don't look at Downtown in the Know, you're not gonna see it, right? You won't see it. So anyway, but, I lost my train of thought. Downtown donates, right? Downtown donates, we're doing that, I'm doing that whole, rolling out that program where you can donate per lease with the police. And the beautiful thing about that is on December the 19th, we can go and put together boxes with them. It only takes about an hour, but it's great photo ops. They're all doing photos. There's a lot of pictures. There's going to be a lot of community people there, law enforcement. That's a way that you could get out in the community more. Okay. That also can be used for social media, right? Because when I did it before, when I donated $100 for every escrow I closed to the SPCA, I got one of the biggest responses to a post I had ever done. So that was a good social media one. Okay. So what else? Any other focus areas people could think of? Anthony, what have you got?
I wanna farm neighborhoods
Oh,
better.
Anthony wants to do
Farming.
farming. Okay, that's a new one. No one has saw farming. That's a good one.
Because Ronnie does a good job, like when she sends out these brochures
Mhm.
for like expired and stuff, and I think just being able to do that with farming would be beneficial, because she gets really good responses. And then I didn't put really social networking, but I just put podcasting.
Oh,
What'd you put?
Podcasting.
Ooh,
Yeah, when we make that. Then it's like,
I'm podcasting too.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's gonna be-
It's a break room.
He's gonna
Yeah.
come to our house, he's gonna help me.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be me and him drinking beers.
podcasting is good. And that is a way that a lot of those people, when we were down at CAR, talked about doing podcasts.
Because it's like, I think it's a good network.
Those are good.
You can't-
ones. Those-
You can't make
Thanks,
it
babe.
too long. I don't think podcasts need to be super, super long, because
No,
people's
but
attention
educational.
spans are short, but educational, good info.
Well, then you take clippets of them and post them on your social.
Yes.
And then it'll lead them to the full podcast, but there's a lot of good, I watch podcasts a lot.
Mhm.
I want my podcast to not be real estate related.
I want to be,
Really?
I wanna be a
watch lot
rapper.
of Podcasts, some of them are like, we could do.
I wanna
something.
interview like presidential candidates
Me too.
and like fighters and pretty much everything that Joe Rogan does.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much like him.
Pretty much just.
Okay, Blanca, did you have any, babe?
Work in open houses, I'm used to,
That's good.
There we go. So she's gonna focus
That's good.
on open houses, very good.
What
So-
about social media.
I just have
and
to,
transactions?
social media, I'm really bad at social media.
That's okay. We're all really bad with social media except for Ronnie. And Sharice does a good job with social media, but that's okay because it's a learned thing. And I think with social media, the biggest problem is getting over the fear of doing social media. Like, there's no right or wrong to it. There's no right or wrong, just do it. People, they get upset about social media and they don't want to do it and they do nothing. And so then you get nothing
Can we do like a workshop?
on
Like-
social media. Can we do
like-
that again, Ronnie?
Yeah.
Well, not even like a
Activity,
training,
like-
but like an activity, like, because like. I've been trying to get more involved in it, so I reached out to her and she told me, oh, use CapCut, and then she like walked me through some of it, and then I'm like messing with it on my own. Now I'm doing it more. I'm able to make them a lot quicker, and I think that if that, for me, that's been my number one thing that's held me back from the social media stuff, was all these new tools are overwhelming. And the idea of trying to like I see you'll post something or you'll post something and it's discouraging because I'm overwhelmed. I'm like, I don't even know how to begin to do something like that.
I think the key with social media that everybody, they panic because they want to post something and they have nothing to post. Take a lot of pictures when you're out. Like, I take pictures of things and I use them later,
Well, the good thing about social media now is the fad and the trend is ugly pictures of you just doing whatever. Like, I can take a picture of that tree and post it with a dark filter. I've seen a lot of that, so there shouldn't be a lot of pressure with social
No.
media. The hardest thing is just to start, and that's like on the workshop I did. If you saw my first post on social media, it was truly embarrassing, but I do it every single day. All my business comes from social media. I would say like 90% of my business comes from social media.
See, that's so awesome. So let's do a workshop. We'll get that scheduled separate from our Wednesday training. We'll do a special workshop, like just in the afternoon, and we'll just come and work on social media. I think it's a good idea. I get a lot of response when I post the dogs, of course, because I did the ones with, but it's just random when it happens. Did you see that one with Ollie and Winnie? They were
Oh,
on the bed,
Uh-huh.
both of them on the bed, just laying perfectly, and I was like, oh, don't move. Then I did it real quick, but so I do that. So I post about sourdough bread, dogs, grandkids,
I was gonna say,
And-
it's kids, food and pets.
and real
You put
estate.
that, people love it.
and real estate. Because I think that's the hardest thing. You feel like you want to be so formal with it. You don't need to be formal. They want to know who you are, really. They want to connect with you somehow. Doesn't have to be such a formal thing with real estate. They just want to connect. Okay, so does anybody else? Connie, do you have any focus areas that you want to talk about?
I do want to focus more on the staging and how that works. That's going to be a real focus for us this year. And yeah, I do love, the staging portion of it and how it does keep a listing that's just easier to look at, easier on the eyes, for sure.
And
But
don't you think, Connie, that leads itself to the luxury as well, like
Yes,
the
definitely.
staging leads to luxury.
Yeah, that's one of our bullet points for sure.
Yeah. So our next thing is, now you go to the next one, is the objectives for each area. So like, whatever your objective is, it's like Chris's is more conversations with potential clients. There's 5, so write down 5 ways you're going to achieve each one of these goals. So what do you got so far, Chris?
Oh, I got, meet one random person per day and introduce myself and talk to them.
Okay, so Chris's focus area is more conversations with clients. And his first task is
Meet one,
meet one random person per day and introduce and talk. Oh, which goes back to that thing about meaningful conversations. Remember that social media thing that I said about meaningful conversations? About it's super important to have conversations with people every day. And that's worked for you, Chris, because we talked about that.
yeah, was, I don't know what I was reading, I read something or there was some motivational something. And I'm the type that I don't like to talk to people, actually. So at the gym, at my daughter's carnival, for Halloween, there's been like a handful of times that normally I don't ever talk, and I've just like forced myself, I'm like, all right, change it. And I forced myself and ended up having full-on conversations with somebody that either I knew him or I didn't know him or whatever, that I normally would have just not said a single word to. And it's turning out pretty good.
So anybody else have another focus and then an objective? Yeah, what are you putting for farming, Anthony?
Subscribing to a farming site. That's the first thing to do.
And then what, and then what else and then what are you gonna do? Once you get that farm identified, what are you gonna do?
Probably send out some type of mailers.
Like postcards?
Postcards.
And what else? Because if you pick a farm, anybody who picks a farming area, you should be touching this farm once a month. Because it's repetitive, it's shown. You know, you can send out 1,000 postcards once and you'll probably get nothing. But if you continually send out and contact these people, chances are somebody within that farm is gonna want a list.
Or call you and tell you to take you off their mailing.
Well, and I've had that too, where they call and tell me to, don't send me anything. They get
But
angry.
also, some of these farming sites will give you phone numbers, so if you take their phone numbers and put it in a database as well, you could, send
Okay,
automated
so,
texts.
so if you want to do a farm, you could, the first thing is get some sort of a list, right? And identify what area.
Mhm.
The second thing that Anthony's gonna do is send out some sort of a mailer, a postcard, something, and then he's gonna try and get phone numbers so he can call these people. Because what ways do we have to contact a farm? We can door knock, we can,
Mail.
yeah, we can
Text, call.
mail, text, and call.
And the things I've even done in the past is like I'd look up their names and then find them on Facebook and then I just add them as a friend.
Yep, yep.
And then not even touch base with them, just they would see now if they're friends of mine on Facebook, so they'll be like, oh, an agent.
Right, so there's ways to, and also that kind of goes back to SOI. When you are putting people in your database, try and find them on social media.
Right. Cause they like to watch what people are doing.
They do, so then you're hitting them with mail, with phone call, you could do email, you could also hit them with social media too. They can see what they're doing. Anything anybody else can think of for a farm that we could do for a farm?
Newsletter.
You could send the kids over for the Girl Scout cookies and while you're taking them there, you get them a business card.
Right?
Or you could do an event.
You can-
Invite them.
Yeah, now look, this is gold. If you farm an area and you get a listing and you can do an open house, ooh, that's gold, right? Because you can play off of that open house so much. You could walk the neighborhood and pass out a flyer. You could, prior to your open house, you could do a neighbor's open house, a special, and do something special for them. So if you can get a listing, and then if I got it, so if I was farming a particular area and I got a listing, I would start hammering them with just listed postcards. When it went pending, sold, just sold, and then I would start calling those people after it sold and say, you know, hopefully you got multiple offers. We got multiple offers on this one. I still have buyers looking for a home in your neighborhood. Are you interested in selling? That's gold, if you can get that.
Or send them a couple tickets to like what we're doing on Monday, you know?
Yeah,
Don't pass out flyers on when multiple people are doing open house, so that's when the officer pulled over and yelled at me, remember? Online. I was like, stop passing out flyers, it's my open house.
we had open house wars going. But so that's great for farming areas. Anything else anybody can think of for a farm? Oh, you can do like a special little holiday thing. This is why it's important not to make your farm area too big.
Maybe small.
It needs to be small, so you can really control what you're doing. It doesn't cost you a fortune. You could have passed out like little pumpkins for Halloween and put your business card to it. You could do something for Christmas. You could do in the spring a pack of seeds with, you know, there's all kinds of things you can do. So, but keep your farm small, because if it's too big, it's overwhelming.
I tried that farming and it was too big and it overwhelmed me and then I ended up just using track, so then it
Exactly.
became almost like a waste of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So keep it small. So if you do 50 to 100 and you get one sale out of that, then maybe increase it by another 50 or 100. That's what I would do. So I would handle it. Okay, so what else have we got? We've got,
Your goals.
mine are 50 capping agents, and I want my focus areas are training, recruiting, and retention. Okay. So, you know, it goes, and then everything that I do with the training and that type of thing. So Chris's, we have more conversations with clients. So what would be the tasks involved with having more conversations with potential clients? What are the ideas to make that happen? Anybody have any ideas?
Go to public places.
I was gonna
where
say, you
can-
actually have to go grocery shopping. instead of
You
using
have to
the
go somewhere where there's people.
Yeah.
car.
Yeah, you know, in our world, that's what COVID has done, right? It's made us all wear like, oh, I don't want, we do Instacart, we do online, you know, Amazon. I mean, I know my Amazon driver, but I don't know anybody at the grocery store anymore. So, but that is one way. Go out, make sure you are,
This is one.
what's Chris about?
You speak to anyone that you run into that you know. So.
Oh, you mean don't ignore people? So you mean
Don't do one of these?
so when you're in the grocery, I used to spend, like, when I used to do grocery shopping here in Porterville, it would literally take me like 2 hours to get through. Because I'd see people that I knew, and then you have to stop and talk to them, right? Because they're my clients. So I'd spend a lot of time dodging around, like, oh, I'm going the other way. But Visalia is kind of nice, because I don't really know anybody over there.
Instacart now.
Yeah.
Well, just something in grocery shopping.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, so mine for the SOI thing, it says stop being grumpy, because I'm grumpy and I'm like, oh.
Okay, stop being grumpy. There's a good one.
Do that.
No, oh,
A
not the
life
same thing.
That might be a life goal for Anthony, stop being grumpy. So what else can you do to add to your sphere of influence? Chris said networking, speak to people that you know. What else? What else you got? Sharice, what do you got? To grow your SOI.
I'm gonna do more of that.
Random text.
That's
I'm
it.
meeting a lot.
That's great. Join, and that,
Something, yeah.
you know, you've got volleyball.
Oh,
You're not that old
There are
yet.
morning people.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
like 6 a.m. people, they,
It's like a, so,
It's a.
it's like a.
Yeah.
What?
I'd be the youngest member.
Just
Yeah.
go to the Eagles, they have a
Yeah.
block. Oh, they both have one.
Yeah,
It's like on interns.
no.
Now they're all inclusive.
So join, what else could we do to work our SOI?
Don't forget to ask for,
What's
oh, I'm
that?
sorry, sir. Don't forget to ask for referrals. Referrals.
Perfect.
Ask for at least one referral per day. I wrote that down.
Ask for one referral a day. So ask for a referral. What else?
For a rating, at least once a day.
Oh.
To rate my Google, because then you're more searchable to people who don't know where real estate.
Ronnie asked for a rating, so that goes more into our social media, right? Or is that overall?
Google, yeah, just a rating.
When you get a rating, can you post that on social
Yeah,
media?
you can share
Or do it as a client testimonial.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Do it as a client testimonial.
Put
Okay.
it online, what do they, there's 16 people.
Is there anybody that's,
Unmuted or would like to share? Who do you wanna put in the front?
it. Where's the chat at? Oh, meeting chat, there it is. Here, there's 5 new messages,
10 transactions.
10 chat. Okay, I missed a lot.
who's 10?
Lilia,
Lilia, her goal is 10 transactions. Leticia, expand her SOI. And what does that
Alejandra
say?
says, what is a good podcast?
Oh, what's a good podcast? Well, I like Brian Eisenhower's podcast.
oh, I love his.
He has a great
Oh, okay.
podcast. Yeah, he has a very good podcast. Yeah. Okay, anything else, Jackie?
What do you
Okay.
write on it? You're brainstorming all of it, Jackie.
What about SOI, Jackie? So we're talking about growing and nurturing SOI.
For my SOI, so of course I need to feed it because I'm really poor at doing that. So add to SOI, add to my SOI, my CRM. And so my game plan on how to pull, because my brain is, I like to go off on a tangent as to like which people. So I usually kind of create as who's my target and then have a piece of paper with, if I think of 3 other people, write them down so that way I don't forget them to add them in. And so then I want to add into one of my activities to keep my network and my SOI stay connected is I want to do monthly mailers. So like I already do a good job of doing my Christmas cards every year or try to, and I always see results, but waiting until Christmas time, it's like, that's only one time I need to do more of a quarterly or something.
So Jackie's
So-
talking about nurturing her SOI and getting deals because, out of 7, so out of 7 people in your SOI, you should get 1 deal for every 7. If you're working it properly.
Mhm.
Now, if you're just putting them in there, not doing anything, that's not working your SOI, right? You're gonna get, the average though is 1 for every 7. So Jackie's talking about nurturing them.
Yes, and so as of now, everyone that's in my database should already be getting the home pulse as well as the holidays. So maybe incorporate another additional
Okay.
email periodically into
So,
that.
so right now Jackie's doing a Christmas card. Okay, that's once a year. She does
And
the
monthly
home
mailers.
pulse, which is once a month. So
Mhm.
there's 12. That gets you at 13 touches. And then the Christmas, the holiday auto email, which is another 12. So that puts us at 13, 23, 24.
Mhm.
She's getting 24 touches. And really, the only work she's doing is putting them in there at the start and then setting up the auto campaigns.
Well, then what, to grow on the Christmas cards, I'm gonna set them up on the database from CRM for them to get monthly postcards too. So that's another 12 there.
There we go. There's another 12. So now we're at 36.
And then the other item, objective 4 is to do more pop buys. So like for Veterans Day event, last year, what I did, and I'm basically gonna do it again, is I took the vouchers and I went to my cousins' houses and my uncles and gave it to them because they're my biggest supporters and my biggest cheerleaders that send me referrals. So I went to them first, as well as the buyers I was working with or clients I was working with. So my goal is to kind of do pop buys around our office events.
Right. So inviting to events is another way to nurture our SOI.
But the whole purpose of pop by is to be in the face, because that
Right.
gets even more.
So Jackie likes face to face with them.
Oh, me too. Jackie doesn't like it, but has to.
Jackie does that. So you can invite them to the events. That's another way to touch your SOI.
And I was struggling with figuring out what a 5th item, but Ronnie's idea of doing asking for reviews, that's what I added in. I have a tendency to always ask around fall time apparently, because all my reviews are in August or September. So I need to just systematically do it throughout the year.
What if you did a bulk or a mass email
Mhm.
every time you got a listing to your SOI?
Yep,
saying, hey, I've got this great new listing. Do you know anybody that might be interested in that?
yes, let's see.
People always want to know about things, right? They want to be a little bit in the know. So that's another way to touch them. And every time you get a listing, you could put that in there. What else for SOI? What's another way to touch? Oh, well, there should be a couple of phone calls a year to these people.
Yes,
There
Happy
should be.
birthday or something, you know?
Something. So if you're using sync the way you should be, you can go in there and make notes. You can put their birthdays, you can say,
The kid's
you can
birthday.
schedule calls so that it pops up on your phone. Obviously, don't schedule them all for the same day. That is overwhelming, but you could do like 2 a day, Monday through Friday, and just give them a call. How's it going? Everything good, you know? Hope you're having a great summer. Are you looking forward to the holidays? Anything like that for your sphere of influence. The ideas for your sphere of influence are endless. They really are. You just got to get creative, but you've got to get it in your mind how many touches you want to have each year. And make that part of your job description, right? It's got to be your job description. We don't do this willy-nilly, we do this strategically.
mhm,
So strategically set it up. All the auto stuff, easy. The hardest part of this whole SOI, the database, is setting it up at the start. That is absolutely the
Especially
hardest
as
part.
hundreds of people.
Right. Once you get that done, and then make a goal to grow it, like I'm gonna add 5 a
Okay,
month or
yeah.
2 a month or whatever it is and grow it. Okay, anything else for SOI that we want to talk
Well,
about?
so the SOI podcast thing kind of combined together for me, but I want to educate the SOI on how real estate works. Is it, I don't want to do like a podcast to tell other agents how real estate works because they should already know or they
Right.
figured it out, but clients oftentimes don't know. Just simple things like going to a new build without you, or like currently I have a client that I got qualified with West. And they didn't know I could service Visalia, so they used a agent from Visalia because they just didn't know. you know?
Right.
So I think being able to educate your SOI is very important.
And I think coming across, if you're doing a podcast, as an expert, right? And we do take it for granted that they know all these things. I mean, when we get new clients, half the time,
They don't.
they don't know.
They
They
don't-
don't
they don't know
know
the
that,
process.
they don't understand that I can show anyone's listings.
Right,
I mean, I've
exactly.
had that question so
Me
many
too, like,
times.
oh, do you have any other, does your office have other listings? Oh, well, we have hundreds of listings on
Yeah.
MLS, you know?
Right,
So I think that's important too, to educate your clients.
okay, so that's a good one. Anything else for SOI anybody can come up with? Any other ideas? No? How about, okay, so let's talk about social media, because some of you wanted to grow your presence on social media. What are the ways to do that? What are the ideas that you have?
One, you have to learn.
She looked at her, I don't know.
You have to learn and become proficient in some of the tools that are available for you to do it.
Right, and how about this? We don't have to do everything. You just need to do a few things well,
Mhm.
right? Or decent enough to do it. Like, I somehow like claw my way through social media. I make it, but it's not like it's great. And it's not like it's the most fantastic social media. But I know how to do a few things, right? I learned from Ronnie how to edit a video. I know how to do that. I know how to go on CapCut and do a couple of things. I know how to do a reel. I know how to put some music to it now. So I know how to do those few little things and I stick with it because I'm not going to be ever a social media expert. I'm not going to. I'm just not that techie. So I think that, what about consistently posting?
I think there's a fine line. And you can see it in numbers, because if you overdo it, you'll
Mhm.
lose followers.
Right.
They'll be like, oh, wow, yeah, we know you sell houses, you don't have to show us 5 times a day.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So there's a fine line of consistency.
yeah,
And I think that's where it comes in, that you've got to show them a little bit of yourself,
Right.
not just, it's constantly, the agents that I go, "Ooh, not watching them anymore," are the ones that it's just sold, just sold, just sold, just sold. It's constantly the real estate. And I go, yeah, Yep, yeah, but the ones that are interesting are when they're doing something
Right.
or where they're somewhere else and I wanna see where they're at.
You know, who's super interesting to follow, and I use a lot of his ideas, is Alex Rosh in Visalia, or is that how you say his name?
Mhm.
He gets super creative with social media. and
I
he just
find him
copies from-
somewhat annoying.
Me too.
Really?
Little cheesy.
Me too.
But it's not always real estate.
Is that the cheesy one that did the gun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, I thought he was so creative. I think
I
it's
know.
hilarious.
Well, no,
Don't
there
talk-
are certain people that like that style.
no, and that's,
But it's gravitating to
Well,
who
I
you
think
are.
as a creator, I'm like.
he's
"God,
very
that was
creative.
Yes.
Yeah,
Now look,
think of
and-
it as a consumer.
Yes, and don't you think as for social media, that's what makes it interesting is everybody has a different style.
Mhm.
Like that appeals to Ronnie, it didn't appeal to me.
Yeah.
I follow this other gal and I can't think of her name, but she's the one, I think I've seen a couple of her videos that she talks a lot about what's going on in real estate. And she just kind of talks, I love her. I also like Barbara Corcoran,
Yeah.
but I love her. I
I
love
like this guy, he's from San Luis Obispo, but his whole like feed is super clean and it's all just like video,
See, I think
but it's super
I
creative.
wish it was like this, but no.
Like this kid,
That is really great.
this kid is super
Oh,
good.
he is?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So follow people on social media and get ideas. Everybody does, everybody's stealing everybody's ideas.
Mhm.
And I think I would, again, just like you're strategic with your sphere of influence, you need to calendar your social media. Like I kind of know at the start of the week what my ideas are going to be about social media. Like, what am I going to put on Downtown in the Know? What do I want you guys to know? What am I going to post? And I think it's important to, and you can put that in your calendar so you know what you're posting.
It's good to follow people like that, and copy people that you can copy genuinely.
Yes,
You don't want to have some kind of online, because people meet you in real life, it's like.
Yeah.
well, you tweak it to
Like
your
your
own,
friends.
right?
I was gonna say, I'm not saying
You
names,
get-
because she just moved back here, but.
You get, so you follow people and then tweak it and make it your own. Like, don't do exactly it. I mean, I'm not gonna do something like somebody's doing that doesn't fit my personality. Number one, it's gonna be weird
right.
and I won't do a good job because it's not genuine.
But you also go to things like, with that people will post about you and tag you in it and do stuff like that. It's not, it's okay to ask people like, hey, can you just tag me on it? And then you
Yeah.
can repost it. I always make sure my stories is a blue line, which means I post a story or 3 every single day. So I'm at the top of everybody's timeline. Stories you can ignore, my feed, I think I try once a month at least on my actual feed.
Right,
But just
Yeah,
make sure
I
you're
think
always
that's
posting
how I
what
do
you're
too.
doing, you know?
yeah,
I think stories are important.
Yeah.
I think like last night I got 1,000 views on my story.
that's good.
Yeah.
Your stuff, you're at the front.
They- they-
Yeah.
It's based on
Who you interact with
views.
most.
Yeah.
So if somebody on my page has, the first one that pops up is gonna be whoever has the most views.
No.
Like who you interact with the most.
You interact with-
So, like,
It picks up on the algorithm,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yes, I'm curious.
like when I watch certain people, I notice they're always on my stories.
Yeah, because that's why you gotta let your stories go all the way through to the end, because if not, then you only have that first like 10 people always on your top
Doesn't
10.
it always go vice versa though? Like if I interact with Sarah's stuff too, I'll be on top of her, like we're just interacting with each
Yeah,
other.
that's how the
Yeah.
algorithm works. Right.
Mhm.
Cause I'm always trying to comment on people's stuff and I have time, but
Yeah, and that's why, oh, that's the other thing with social media, you should be watching, commenting, it's not just
Engaging,
liking,
yeah.
but you should be engaging with people more than just a like.
They're
But,
sending you direct messages.
right, direct messages, and that's why as staff, we do the just listed, just sold, just pending, so that you guys can share those too.
Well, it gives us a chance to brag on you, so that way it's not like you bragging on yourself every time.
Right,
So
right.
it's like, it goes double.
And we're also working on changing up the graphics for the just
Yeah, I was gonna
listed.
ask you that, how do we feel about agents using their own graphics?
Sure, we can do that, absolutely, we don't care. But we're gonna change ours up where we have like 4 different
Okay,
ones and the girls can
topics.
randomly use them, so they just don't get to, it's all the same. And yeah, so what else on social media? Anything else anybody can think of?
My goal is to try to send at least 3 DMs a day. And alternate it between like Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat, so that way it's like engaging the conversation, but like. It's kind of combo of social media as well as SOI, because it's my way to reconnect, and then ideally, if I don't have them in my SOI, get their contact info into my SOI. So it kind of go into my database, so it's carried over in threefold.
Right.
And here's another thing that I've started doing too. I don't know if this is stupid, but. On social media.
Mhm.
When every day I go on to, and it gives you birthdays for the day.
Mhm.
I update their contact, their birthday and their contact on my phone.
Mhm.
And make sure you tell them happy birthday.
And you know what's even better than that? Once you know when their birthday is, wish them birthday the day before. Send them a text and say happy birthday Eve. Because then you set yourself apart from all the other birthdays. Because when you do it on their actual day, they get 1,000,000. If you do it the day before, they're gonna be like,
You might as
wow.
well do it January 1st, say happy birthday year.
Yeah,
Stupid.
yeah, the
Well-
birthdays are good.
Anthony used to do a really good one, is he would pick up the phone and give them a call to wish him happy birthday.
Used to, he still does.
Okay, well, I don't know, I don't see him every day anymore.
He's always-
But that's good. Anthony goes one step further and calls them. That's important. I mean, that's to get a birthday call.
That's all.
I also scan social media a lot for what's going on in people's lives.
Mhm.
So it goes back to the notes, the
Mhm.
cards that, the handwritten cards that we learned in the 7 levels of communication, right? So when I see, unfortunately, when somebody has somebody that's passed, I don't comment on social media because they get so many comments. I go and get a card and I mail them a card.
Yeah.
And I have gotten all kinds of stuff from that because they're like, oh, it's so nice. And, oh, this is the other thing for your database. I try and send out a few cards a week.
Mhm.
Like, just because notes or
Like
thank
where's
you
the offering
notes
to-
or little time, like I saw one of my friends on Facebook had to have surgery and I just.
Get well soon.
Yeah, I just did a little blank note, just said, just thinking of you, hope the procedure went well and you're getting, and you're feeling better. Super easy.
And from the book, Atomic Habits,
Yep,
what we learned. is making something very achievable that will lead to you doing the action. So I think for everybody, in my opinion, one of the things that you should be doing for your database. is Make everyone just log into it every day.
yep, I agree.
It's on my.
I mean,
That even goes to like even logging on the Flex and just scrolling at hot sheet because it just keeps your brain and I scroll on Flex like it's a social network a lot. I'm just on it.
Like you're checking the mail, waiting for a check.
Exactly.
it's all about the energy you put in, guys. You put the energy, you're thinking about real estate, it comes back to you.
Because there's always that one listing that doesn't mean nothing to you and you see it, and it reminds you, oh, I had a client that said if this ever pops up, to let them know, and then you call them, be like, hey, it popped up.
Right, so every book that we read, it always boomerangs back to database and CRM and using it.
And SOI.
Consistent.
SOI, consistently working your SOI. You can have, this is not a database. This is the instrument that we use to call our database, but you can't, I mean, I guess you could put notes about who you called, but with Sync, you can say, oh, I did a call. I'm gonna call them in 6 months and you can schedule it and then it pops up on your phone. I mean, how amazing is that?
And then those that don't have SOI here, because they relocated or whatnot, that's where it comes back to the whole farming aspect and going those.
And
other
starting to
avenues.
grow your
So
SOI.
growing your SOI by joining clubs, organizations, church, any avenue where you can network with people, connect with people, all play a part. I got the tail end of the Tom Ferry business planning. It was today, 30 in the morning. I clicked on at 10, thinking it was 10 a.m. here. But the last part was he was giving for a newbie that was trying to break into a market they didn't know. They told them, go after for sale by owners and expired, but come at it from an educational standpoint. Asking the client what went wrong, why are you choosing this one? Just to understand their mentality. And over time, when they came from not wanting to force them to use them, the people were actually starting to use them more because she understood them better too. They'll be able to appeal to them better. And it came kind of an extra tidbit.
That's a good idea.
Mhm.
So we've talked about SOI, talked about social media, we've talked about farming, we've talked about podcasts. What else do we want to talk about?
Getting more,
Mine, oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, you,
Mine is attend 3 trainings, not downtown, whether it's like the,
Education.
yeah, education, because we can like lead generate all we want, but if you get on the phone with them and you don't know what you're talking about, it panics me, and then I'm like, and then I'm coming back. So I wanna be able to.
12:30.
Yeah, whether it's on social media, like how to make a website, or whether it's on real estate, I just want to attend 3 very good trainings, not downtown trainings.
Per year.
Like lenders, like. stuff
Right,
like that,
so-
financing.
Training. yeah.
Right, so
That
Ronnie
actually-
wants to go to, she wants to learn and attend trainings, and I think that's important.
well, and a month ago or a couple months ago, Gene Jose was telling me about some of the designations that you can do within
Yes,
car.
Mhm.
Or car.
What?
And
designations.
designations, so you can become, they have courses for you to get some designation that will make you.
Yes,
further-
however,
further.
those are paid for. Keep in mind, through the training portal that we give you from Brian Eisenhower, you have other sub designations too. So you can do the
Like
different, the
strategy
solid
build.
negotiating,
Yeah.
the new
Yeah.
build, they're all the different ones
Yeah.
too.
Doesn't matter where you go, but those are like, that would be good for like what she's saying with trainings.
And I would encourage everybody to go down to the CAR convention like we did. It's again, it's one nugget is all you need from there, one. And even if you go for one day, you don't want to stay. I know it's tough, but God, we got some good stuff. Chris got some AI stuff out of there. I just always come away with one idea.
And even TCMLS tries to bring in trainings, they have the education boot camps once a month in Visalia. Sometimes the topic is, sometimes it's not. I went to the 1031 exchange thinking, I already know what they're talking about. I actually learned something. I went to the DRE one because I had questions and I got my answers for it. I went to the flood one, even though I thought I knew everything I knew. I didn't learn much new for me, but it just reevaluated that I was still in the know.
And you
So,
can always get up and leave.
yes.
I mean, I've done it. I've gone to those trainings and it was specialized in that. And if it's something that doesn't catch my attention, I mean, I give it a try. And if it's like, I'm out. But so you don't have to stay, but sometimes
Yes.
you get something that's really good.
And it's right in our back door, and it's, they paid for lunch, and then even like when we had Gov here. Probably halfway into it, we walked out because it was already going over what we've already been going over for months. So, but at least we got all the new laws out of the way and covered that.
And that's another thing you can post on social media, right? That you're training, that you're growing, that you're learning.
Cause you even get the nosy people that always call you, like, especially older men will call and have those questions, and I'm like. I just wanna be able to like, be ready for them,
Mhm.
you know, he can go on and on and on about all these laws and rules and how real estate is now, and I'm just like, oh. Do you wanna sell your house? Or- I know how to do that.
Well, a lot of the times what they're coming up with is not accurate anyway. It's all kind of
Yeah.
hearsay.
Or what they saw in the news.
Right,
Exactly.
Okay,
and I'm gonna stay up all night reading the laws from the website, government websites.
yeah.
That's
Well,
why
it's
I
all
like podcasts.
available if you
So
want to.
that's why it's a.
That's a good goal. Anything else that anybody can think of? Any other goals they want to do? No? Okay, so this is what I want everybody to do. I want you guys, now how do we do, how do we tell this, Jackie? Because we did this in bold. We want you to write a letter like it's the end of
Oh.
2025. Do you know what I'm talking about, Connie?
I do, and mail it to yourself.
Yes, well,
What?
give it to me and I'll hold it for you guys.
Okay.
And then
Yeah,
So how do you, it's as if it's the end of 2025, right, Connie?
right, yeah. You just put down your 3, top goals. And then you look at them at the end of the year and see how you did.
Well, I
No,
think you
not that
have-
one.
Not
No,
that
that
one.
one.
Do
Oh.
it. Yeah, the one I'm talking about is you write it as if you, what you've accomplished, as if you, it's
Oh,
already.
okay. Okay. Oh,
Like
I,
you're manifesting it, like you're
Manifest.
manifesting.
in the future, yeah.
Yes.
So you
Okay.
are, what the key is in the details, so keep in mind the Aladdin 3 wishes, I want $100. and then they have 100 years in front, right? Or 1,000,000 years. It's not the same. You gotta be as descriptive as possible. So the key is writing yourself a letter like, hey, I am so proud of myself. It's such and such day. I'm driving my whatever color car, like if you have a
Yeah,
car dream.
I had such a good time in Europe.
Everything, like, everything of your year that you accomplish and describing yourself where you are. So if your goal was to lose weight, I love the way I feel, I love the way I feel, I look healthy, I am healthy, I'm weighing at such and such now. The key is all in the details. So the letter, take the time and be as descriptive as to how you want to see yourself next year, and you gotta see yourself there already. Picture your perfect year as of right now.
And what's happened and what you've done and
Mhm.
what you've accomplished, as if it's already happened.
Yes.
Not like I want, I
I
did.
And then at the end of the year, it's amazing to see how much of it you have accomplished.
So write them, seal them, put them in an envelope, or we'll put them in an envelope for you and we'll hold them.
Mhm.
And then at the end of 25, we're gonna give them back to you.
I did that one time with goals, and I was recently going through all my office stuff, and I found it from like 2023 or something. Or
Mine's
last
still by
year,
my
the year
bedside.
before, and I'm like, oh shit. I
Did you
did
guys,
that.
did you guys have our letters from last year?
Did we do it last year?
Did you do it, Melissa?
We didn't do it last
We
year.
did this last year.
I don't think.
We
ever-
talked about doing
talked
it, but
about
we
it,
didn't do it.
This time we're actually gonna do it.
Yeah.
So, okay, so what have we got coming up? We've got Veterans Day on Monday.
Uh-huh. Listing presentation on Wednesday.
Next week is listing presentation. We're gonna be talking about pricing properly in a tough market. We're gonna be talking about listing presentation, and then the week after that, we've got office meeting.
Focus.
Then we've got office meeting after that.
Best.
So Veterans Day on Monday.
Yes. So everyone show up, distribute your vouchers. If you haven't picked up your vouchers, if you're gonna have them here that day of.
I'm
let
just gonna
us
leave
know.
mine here. I'm not passing them out, but we are gonna do a cornhole contest now. So we're gonna bring cornhole boards and we're gonna let people play from like 11 to 1. At 1 o'clock, we're gonna start a tournament. So I'm gonna have a clipboard and I'm gonna see who wants to sign up for the tournament. And we're gonna give away downtown merchandise.
It's teams, right?
Yeah, it takes two
True.
2 people on a team.
people on a team.
Okay.
No.
Okay,
He's on my.
all right. Thank you, guys.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
After home.